Hi there. This is going to be a short video about whether the elites, or the powers that have been controlling most of society, actually do respect the free will of human beings. I'm making this video because I have heard several people within the truth movement say that the elites respect free will of human beings and that they need the consent of us before they can do things to us. Well, I respectfully disagree with this sentiment. You know, the elites have been, for the most part, running our world without our consent for centuries, if not millennia. They've been doing it using mind control, and mind control does not equal consent. You know, mind control starts in infancy. Here are some quick examples of my observations of mind control. The use of pink and blue, depending on if a newborn baby is a girl or a boy. To me, this sets the male and female in opposition to each other, which makes me see that the so-called war between the sexes is manufactured through this and other methods of control. Other methods include the manipulation of language. Take the words history, his story, or Hebrews, for a couple of examples. This brings me to the idea of how a sense of cognitive dissonance is created in the human mind, starting very young, when a child is learning the language, specifically the English language. An example of this is seen in the last 4 months of our year. For example, September. September is the 9th month, yet the word sept means 7. October is the 10th month, yet the word oct means 8. November is the 11th month, yet the word nov means 9. And December, deca, is the 12th month, even though deca means 10. I have observed that this creates a subconscious and subtle base layer of confusion, which then sets the stage for general mind control using subliminals and symbolism in movies, music, and television. The child first learns the month, and then later in school they begin to learn what those root words mean, which again, in my mind, creates a state of cognitive dissonance that is very subtle. Another example of the way language has been manipulated is the use of negative root words in not only the language, but in personal names. For example, ick. How many words can you find with the root word ick in them? Or the root word ill? Or how about the root word mar, which means to disfigure or harm? This use of negative root words is, I believe, used to create a generally negative atmosphere in our culture. What I'm talking about is the most basic way that those in power have been using mind control, and doesn't even take into consideration the use of trauma and ritual. Mind control may have been working on different people in different ways and on different levels. No matter how many different forms of mind control have influenced you, language seems to have the most generalized effect. In that way, free will is subverted using mind control, and that does not equal consent. Even though, as I have heard many authors on the subject say, that the elites warn us about what they're planning to do through the use of symbolism in the movies, music, and television, and that remaining silent equals consent. If the people have already been mind controlled throughout their lives since birth, and I'm not even broaching the subject of genetic memory or archetypal transference, then how can that be considered consent? It simply cannot be, because the human being's free will has been subverted through the use of mind control, and then consent is manufactured after the fact. So if the elites are supposed to respect free will, then mind control is how they cheat their own game. Because how can a newborn baby give consent to being controlled on multiple levels throughout their lives? I know I didn't give my consent as a baby to be mind controlled. 18 is called the age of consent for a reason. And meanwhile, before you reach the age of 18, your mind has already been messed with on so many levels. And if you're familiar with some of the programming in movies and television, but specifically like Disney movies, which the child will get a DVD and play it over and over and over again and never even notice consciously the sexual subliminals in these movies, such as the word sex in The Lion King, or the image of a penis in the castle of, I think it was The Little Mermaid, or how about the word sex in the advertisement for the movie Tangled? And these are just the examples that people have found. I have to wonder how much is in these movies that people haven't found. So I know when I was a kid, I didn't give my consent to this kind of subversive, subliminal, and subconscious mind control. I don't think anyone as a newborn child could actually, or legally, give any kind of consent to be mind controlled, to have their free will subverted through subconscious programming. How could you? You're too young to understand what it even means, and yet they are bombarding us throughout our childhood with all sorts of different forms of mind control. And mind control does not equal consent. Thank you for listening.